Okay, we are open up to the next clean page in our math notebooks for today's notes. So, here it is. All right, today we are titling our page, it's just like yesterday, but instead of add, we're putting the word subtract. So 7.4, subtract fractions with unlike denominators in today's date, which is 1-13. And give me a thumbs up when you have your title and today's date at the top. So 7.4, subtract fractions with unlike denominators, 1-13. Awesome. Thank you for giving me thumbs up, you guys, when you're ready. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. Nice work. Thank you. So again, like I was saying earlier today, this is going to be very similar to yesterday. So like, Drew, you were gone when we did our notes yesterday, so it's going to be very similar. So even though you weren't here for yesterday's notes, you're going to get pretty much the same thing today, except we're subtracting instead of adding. So, I don't know why we're talking. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, Miss E, I don't like subtracting. Well, we know usually when we don't like something in math, it's because we don't feel confident with it, right? I mean, right? I know when I say I don't like something in math, it's usually because I'm not as confident with it. Would you guys agree? Yeah. Yeah. So like if like division, you're like, oh, I don't like division. It's probably because you're not as used to it. And sometimes maybe you forget a step. So we know that with practice, we get to feel better at things in math. So with subtracting fractions, it's just like adding fractions, except we're subtracting those two numerators. All right, are we ready to move on? Okay. Oh, I'm waiting for voices to go. Okay. So, steps. So, as you can see, I put in parentheses just what I said. It's the same as adding, except for subtracting. So today, we're going to use the example problem of 4/5 minus 2/3. So 4/5 minus 2/3. Give me a thumbs up when you have this written down. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know you're ready to move on. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you. Yes, it'll be the same as yesterday. Yep, 4 of them, but I think we'll get through it a little quicker today because it is just like adding. So we're kind of used to the steps already. Yep, just subtracting instead of adding. Yep. All right, does anyone need more time? Okay, so just like yesterday, our first step is to find the LCD, the least common denominator. Now, I wrote, again, to list the multiples, I wrote it like this, but if you like the way we've done it in the past, you can always also list it or write it like this. It's completely up to you how you want to list the multiples for the two denominators. So we find the least common denominator. We'll find the smallest number that both denominators have in common when we multiply them. Yep, so once you have that written down, go ahead and list the multiples for 3 and 5, and then circle the smallest one they have in common. Give me a thumbs up when you have done that. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, 5th grade. Thank you. Awesome. So list the multiples of 5 and 3 and then circle the one they have in common. Give me a thumbs up when you have done that. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. List the multiples and circle the one they have in common. You don't need to. I just wrote that in case people want to write it that way. All right. Are we ready to look at this together? Perfect. Okay. I'll use purple today. I'll use purple. I'm already using purple. Okay. So I'm going to list my multiples over here. Again, you may have set it up to list your multiples like this. That's totally okay. It's like a sideways T-chart. Okay, so I'm going to list my multiples of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm gonna stop there because I think I'll be able to find something. Then 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Have I reached one? What's my LCD? 15. Let me grab where's my red? Here's my red. So I'm going to circle. How many of you circled 15 as the LCD? How many of you circled 15? Awesome. So then, just like yesterday, our second step, convert them to equivalent fractions. So go ahead, get this written down, and then I want you to convert our two fractions to those equivalent fractions with the new denominator of 15. Once you are done with that, give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Thank you. And I know some of you really have the hang of this. That's awesome. But I do want you to make sure you are still taking the notes that I write down. Remember what I said at the beginning of fractions. It's important that you are taking as good of notes as possible and you are not rushing yourself. Yeah, you might find this easy, but when we start getting into improper fractions and mixed numbers and multiplying and dividing, you do not want to be rushing yourself. So it's better that we take our time starting at the beginning than rushing ourselves through the end. So convert to equivalent fractions. You're right. For some people, they can do this in their head. But, like I said, it's good to practice writing it out. I'm just going to already put my multiplication signs here just so that we're ready when we look at this together. You guys are doing great today. Nice work. Yeah, I make all these notes ahead of time. You have to think through the lesson. What do I want them to practice? How are we going to practice it? This is the first year I'm teaching this way since we have distance learners. Oh, yeah. But you guys have told me you think that the math notes have been helpful. That's what a lot of you have told me.
If you lose your notes for some reason, you can just ask you to show it to us so that we can rewrite it down.
Yeah, Mackenzie.
Also, it was really helpful yesterday because all the answers in my notebook were
You're right, that happened yesterday. I didn't even realize it. I picked those off the top of my head, believe it or not. And they happened to be some of your homework problems. So.
Wait, they did?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't even bother to look.
But yeah, and like Jackie said, because we're making the videos this year, you guys, you will have access to these 5th grade videos next year when you're in 6th grade too. So, you guys get into fractions next year, for example, and you're doing tougher things, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number. You can look back at a fifth grade video and find it if you want to. So that's kind of cool. Okay, are we ready to look at this together? Okay, I would like everyone to do a mask check. Make sure your mask is covering your nose and your chin. In fifth grade, a quick note about that. Can I have all eyes on me for a second? Can I have all eyes on me for a second? All eyes on you. I'm still waiting for a few sets of eyes to be on you. Okay, build your mask. Eyes on you. The reason why we're wearing our masks is because we want to be in school, right? Yeah. If you are, there are some people I've been having to give lots of reminders to. If you keep messing with your mask, wearing it like this, most of you are not mouth breathers. So you're breathing through your nose when your mask is down. When you're playing with it, putting it up over your eyes, if you were to be asymptomatic, no symptoms, and positive for COVID, and you are someone I have to remind multiple times a day about your mask, you could unknowingly pass COVID onto a classmate, and maybe that classmate isn't asymptomatic. Maybe they get COVID really badly and end up in the hospital. Is that something you want to have happen?
No.
And then we'd be distance learning, right? However, let's say you're asymptomatic. You're wearing your mask properly. You end up not transmitting it to anybody. We have a greater chance of staying in school. We have a greater chance of less people getting sick. These are the only reason why we are in school. If we did not have masks, we would be distance learning. Do you understand that? Do you guys understand that?
Yes.
We need to wear them properly. I know you forget sometimes, maybe it slips below your nose. I get it. But 5 to 10 times a day reminding one person, that's just you not caring. Okay? We don't need to say people's names. That is not the point of this discussion. And shame on you for doing that. The point is a class reminder. All right. Now let's look at number 2 together. So, converting to equivalent fractions, just like yesterday. We're going, for 4/5, we're going from a 5 as a denominator to a 15. So we ask, 5 times what equals 15? 5 times what equals 15? Fifth grade? 3. So, 5 times 3 equals 15. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do it to the numerator. So then 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. How many of you got 12/15 when you're converting 4/5? Awesome. Then we come over to 2/3. Same thing. 3 times what equals 15? Show me on your hands. 3 times what equals 15? 5. So 3 times 5 equals 15. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do it to the numerator. So then 2 times 5 is 10. How many of you got 10/15 for 2/3? Awesome. So now we have these two fractions, 12/15, 10/15. This is the difference between yesterday's notes and today's notes. Number 3, and you'll see I accidentally wrote the wrong operation. Yeah, we subtract the fractions. We don't add them. This is about subtraction. So number 3, we subtract our fractions. There we go. Now we're subtracting. Subtract those fractions. So go ahead, write them down, subtract them, circle your answer when you get it. Give me a thumbs up when you have an answer. Awesome. I'm not going to lie, when I was writing these notes over the weekend, I was also watching a TV show, so I may have got a little distracted when I wrote the ad and subtract. Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
I've seen so many videos of that.
Like that's insane. I watch Grey's Anatomy.
I've never seen it before. And that was a TV show that was really big when I was younger.
They had like 6 people are over here thinking that if you want
Write it down. It's called Grey's Anatomy. It's like a medical drama.
Was it popular when you were like, so my cousin would watch it, and my baby cousin, really Michael, I thought it was problem. I thought it was bad.
Hey, 3, 2, 1, 0. Fifth grade. When I get to 0, voices should be off. Jackie. All right, let's look at it together. So 12 fifths minus 10, or 12 fifteenths minus 10 fifteenths. So 5th grade, just like when we are adding fractions, our denominator stays the same. So we carry the 15 over into our answer, and we just subtract our numerator. So 12 minus 10 is what?
2.
Thank you, Michael. 2 fifteenths. How many of you got 2 fifteenths as your answer? Awesome. Now, close your eyes, put your head down. Close your eyes, put your head down. Yeah. Close your eyes, put your head down.
This made me understand adding.
Okay, good. I know, you weren't here for yesterday. Good. On a scale of 1 through 5, show me, how do you feel about subtracting fractions? Okay. On a scale of 1 through 5, how do you feel about adding and subtracting fractions? Awesome. Okay, hands down. We're going to have some practice problems, then you're going to have homework work time. So, go ahead, write a section for practice. Yep, you should have opened your eyes. Yep, awesome. Write practice. All right, 5th grade, you know I'm not going to show you your practice problems until our voices are off. We're going to have 4 today, just like yesterday. If you need to go onto the back of your page, you can. You know this. Now, 5th grade, because I had to give reminders yesterday, should we be turning and talking to the people around us when we're done with our practice problems? No. Yep, exactly. So, you can read, you can write, you can draw, you can keep working on those wonder questions. If you have wonder vocabulary that you didn't have done for today, you can work on that. Anything like that. Spelling activities would be good too. Okay, so practice. These are our problems. So, number 1, 1/4 minus 1/8. Number 2, 3/16 minus 1/4. Number 3 is 6/7 minus 1/2. And number 4 is 2/9 minus 1/6. Once you have these written down, you can begin. Elena, did you have a question? Oh, sorry. 13/16. My bad. 13/16 minus 1/4. Well, they're up there too. Miss E makes mistakes sometimes. I apologize. Okay.
I never do that.
All right. Get to your practice problems.
Yeah, everybody.
What's the first step?
About the 4 in the 8. He's like an 8.
You only need to convert one of them, right? Okay. All right, 5th grade, voices.
Minus.
Okay. And circle it too.
And then,
Hi, Jen.
this, 8, 8.
So, for that, you should do 8. Yep.
How many in 4?
16.
Oh, 16.
Yes, you got it.
So only one of them.
Yep. Thank you to those of you who are being courteous and neighborly and respectful of the people around you when you're not talking. That's awesome. Okay, so that's why I invited it to. Yes. Yep.
How do you know how to turn this? Do you have to do this one also?
So once you're done, you can read, write, or draw, or work on homework at your desk quietly.
Sorry. Because 12 minus 7 is 5. Wait, no.
Yes, go ahead.
Wait, no, 6 plus 12. There's another number.
Gonna give everyone another minute or so. Okay, bud.
Can you start working on like just because I did double-sided for that.
So 5th grade, Frankie had a great idea to work on his wonder word clouds now that he's done with the practice problems. That could be something you could work on for a little bit. We'll go over the practice problems in about a minute or so. Check out. All right, ready to rock. Let's answer those practice problems. All right, 5th grade. So if you close up your math notebook, make sure it's open. Okay. I don't know. I said if. If you close it up, make sure it's open. Okay. So 5th grade. Let's look at this together. Then I will tell you your homework for today. So first one, 1/4 and 1/8. 4 and 8 are my denominators, so I need to find the least common denominator. So I know a lot of you can do this in your head. That's awesome. I'm still going to list it out for people who maybe listed it out so that they can make sure that they wrote it correctly. So 4 and 8. Well, for 4, I have 4, 8, 12. For 8, I have 8, 16, 24. 8 is actually our LCD. How many of you got 8 as your LCD for number 1? Okay, awesome. So, do we need to convert 1/8? No, it already has 8 as the denominator. We just need to convert 1/4. So, then I'm going to, let me grab a different color so it stands out a little bit. So, 1/4 equals something over 8. So 4 times 2 gets me 8. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do it to the numerator. So I'm also going to multiply by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So this 2/8 is what 1/4 was before, so I'm going to bring my 1/8 down here for my subtraction problem. So 2/8 minus 1/8 equals 1/8. How many of you got 1/8 as your answer? How many of you got 1/8 as your answer? Okay. Make sure you subtracted and did not add. I know some people may have done, yep, some people may have done that. This is subtracting. So what I would do is go ahead and look at 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you subtracted those and you didn't add them. Okay. Number 2. Same deal. 16 and 4. I need to find an LCD, least common denominator. I'm going to list them. Some of you may have done this in your head. That's awesome. So 16, 32. I'm going to just stop there. Then 4, I have 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 is my LCD. How many of you got 16 as your least common denominator? Awesome. Now 5th grade, do I need to convert 13/16? No, it already has 16 as the denominator. So, yes, Jack?
Sometimes I do it kind of you do like two numbers and then you know there's going to be one coming up in the next one.
Yep, exactly. When you know about one of the numbers and maybe not the other, that's what you can do. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so 13/16 I'm not going to do anything with. 1/4 though, I needed to have 16 as the denominator. So 1/4 equals something over 16. So 4 times 4 gets me 16. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I'm also going to multiply that by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. How many of you got 4/16 when you converted 1/4? Awesome. So then my problem here now really is 13/16 minus 4/16. Now our denominator stays the same, and 13 minus 4 is 9. How many of you got 9/16 for number 2? Awesome. Great job. Hands down. We got 2 more. You're doing great. So for our last 2, we have for number 3, 6/7 and 1/2. So 7 and 2 are my denominators. So I've got 7, 14, 21, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 is my LCD. How many of you got 14 as your least common denominator? Awesome, 5th grade. Now, do either of these already have 14 as a denominator? No, so I need to convert both of them. So I'm going to set them both up to be converted. So first we have 6/7 equals something over 14. Then I have 1/2 equals something over 14. So I'm going to start with 6/7. 7 times 2 equals 14. So then I need to multiply my numerator by the same number I multiplied the denominator. So 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Awesome. Then, for 1/2, 2 times 7 gets me 14. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I'm also going to multiply the 1 by 7. 1 times 7 is 7. So now, 5th grade, I have the problem 12/14 minus 7/14. What is 12/14 minus 7/14? It is 5/14. It's okay. Yes, Jack. Yeah. I know in my head that it's going to be something. Yep. How many of you knew in your head, when you looked at 1/2, you automatically knew it would be 7/14 because you know that's what it would look like with 14 as the denominator. Okay, good. That's a great practice, Will. Awesome. So 5/14. How many of you got 5/14 for number 3? Okay. How many of you saw the silly mistake you may have made for number 3? Okay. All right. 5/14. Yep. All right, 5th grade. We are now on our last practice problem. So for this one, 9 and 6 are my denominators. So let's find a common number between them. So for 9, I have 9, 18, 27. 6, I have 6, 12, 18, 24. Now my LCD is 18. How many of you got 18 as your least common denominator? Awesome. Now, 5th grade, do either of my fractions already have 18 as a denominator? No. I need to convert both of them, just like we did for number 3. So I'm going to set it up. So 2 9ths equals something over 18. And then 1/6 equals something over 18. So, voice is off. 9 times 2 gets me 18. So I need to multiply then the numerator by the same number. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 4/18. Then from 1/6, 6 times 3 gets me 18. So I need to multiply the numerator by the same number. 1 times 3 equals 3. So now 5th grade, I have 4/18 minus 3/18. What is 4/18 minus 3/18? Jack? 1/18. How many of you got 1/18 as your answer? Awesome. Are we feeling pretty good about this, 5th grade? Good. Hey, silly mistakes? We'd rather make it on, Michael, we'd rather make silly mistakes on our practice problems and our homework than on our tests, right? I know. Okay, for homework tonight, I want you to open up in your workbook to page 393. Cool. 393 in your workbook. Open it up. Three, 2, 1, 0. So, 5th grade, on page 393, you are going to circle number 1, number 2, number 7 through 10. So 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then number 13. So I'm going to say it again. Philip, do you have your workbook open to 393? So on page 393, we are circling number 1, number 2, number 7 through 10. So that's 7, 8, 9, and 10. And number 13. And number 13. And that is on page 393. So 5th grade, go ahead, start on your homework. I'm going to give you some work time with work music. Capiche? Awesome.